What's up, y'all? Welcome back to Sam's Fan React. And today we are talking about a topic that has had my blood boiling since Sunday. We're going to talk about Don Lemon. Don Lemon, Donna Lemonade, whatever you want to call he or she, whatever he want to identify as, but he has my blood boiling. In case you haven't seen it, he decided to pull up in a church in Minnesota.
Renee Good! Renee Good! Renee Good! Renee Good! Renee Good! Go shoot! 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 Where are you? Where are you? Where are you? Where are your people? Why are you not at Whipple every day fighting for the humanity, standing for our people? Where are you? You drink your coffee, you got your jewelry, you have your nice clothes, but what do you do? What do you do to stand for your...
This makes me so mad because all these people are doing is minding their business. You don't know what they're going through. He's sitting up here talking about you drink your coffee, you wear your nice clothes. You don't know what these people are going through. We got millionaires in this country every day that's struggling because of the way this economy has been set up. And for you to bombard them in church, not knowing what their needs are, is insane to me. I have a hard time watching this clip. It takes a lot for me to get through this, but we're going to try. Let's continue.
Somali and Latino communities. I'm not going to comment. You have no comment. Exactly. Say your name. Say your name. Renee Good. Renee Good.
Freedom. We have a duty to win. We must always support one another.
All these comfortable white people who are living lavish, comfortable lives while children are dragged into concentration camps. You're living real life, nice lives with your lattes, doing absolutely nothing for your Latino and Somali brothers and sisters. You come here to a man wearing a suit. Is a preacher? Did Jesus wear a suit?
This makes me so mad because number one, this particular character is a known Soros rage baiter. His entire ecosystem is based upon how many riots that he can start. This is the same man who was on the forefront during the George Floyd riots and everything. He's an agitator, a paid agitator, a well-known agitator. And he's sitting up here telling these people that because they're white, that they're sitting in the church with their lattes and their nice clothes. White people don't have problems. I mean, I feel like they're the most attacked race at this point. Like, are you serious right now? And then he's white. He's white. But since he's being paid to be an agitator, this is the regurgitated talking points that they're all given, that they spew in the middle of these protests. But we're going to continue.
Did Jesus profit off the words? No. Jesus would die within it. You do not touch me. Touch me again and see what happens.
Hey, you can't.
You are a fake Christian. Why are you not standing with your Somali and Latino communities? Why do I not see you out at Whipple every day protesting this attack on humanity? Where are you? You're sinner.
He's not in the Somalian communities because they're rich enough to hire their own security because they're stealing billions of tax dollars. I mean, it makes sense to me.
You're pretending to be Christians, but we know you live an easy life, don't you? A very easy.
He lives an easy life simply because he's white. I mean, he's in church praying. You don't know what their bills look like. You don't know what their income look like. When I'm at my worst, I dress and look my best. And this is what these people don't seem to understand. You cannot sit there and look at someone in a matter of 2 minutes and judge their entire life and entire life circumstances like this paid agitator who's spitting these regurgitated talking points is doing. And it literally makes my blood boil.
Life while people are starving. Shame. Out now. Out now.
Every single Black person that I see here pisses me off. Because let me tell you something about the African American culture. No matter where you was raised or who raised you, there are certain things that you were taught, okay? There are certain things that are off limits, no matter what, no matter who raised you or how you was raised. Women, off limits. You're not going to go out here and be beating on your woman and be abusing women and hurting women and elderly. Children, off limits. You're not going to go out here and be hurting children and doing things to children. And church, the house of God, the Christians, the church folk, they're off limits. This is something that we know. We're taught that the house of God is sacred. That's where you go for your healing. It's our hospital. It's our mental ward. It's our safe haven. And for them to sit there and go and disrespect the house of God, but didn't go down the street to where the ICE agents were actually at, shows the cowardice, and it shows the premeditation, and it shows how they're really, really, really trying to disrupt things. They want Trump to induce the Insurrection Act. This is what they want. They want to be at war and fight law enforcement and for the military to come in because they want a War 3. This is what they want. This is what the elites want, which is why they're dumping so much money into these paid protests and agitations. Because if this was genuine and sincere, they would be out there with ICE, folding ICE up. But they can't do that because they can't do nothing with ICE. They can't do nothing with the military. So they take their cameras and you go into a place where you know these people aren't armed because you're not going to be in church with a gun or nothing. So you go into a place where you know these people are not armed. They're innocent. They have nothing to do with what's going on. You can't force someone to participate in your shenanigans. So you're going to go in there and you're going to force them to go out there and fight for a culture and for a community of people who could care less about us, who don't even like us. They don't like us. They haven't assimilated. They came here to steal, kill, and destroy. And this is what's happening. And they're allowing them to do it. But let's get through this because I want to see Don Lemon.
Living real comfortable while the people starve. Living real comfortable while children are dragged into concentration camps. You're all living real comfortable, aren't you? Shame on you. Do something. Stand with the Somalis.
I wish they would come to our church. And I can promise you, it's probably more Cadillacs parked outside our church with people living comfortably than this church right here. But they know which churches to pull up to. I promise you they do.
Stand with the Latinos. Quit ignoring this injustice. He wears a suit and tie and he hangs out with Kristi Noem. How is that a Christian? You're supposed to accept all immigrants, are you not?
No, we're not.
Why are you not going down to Whipple and joining us in protest against this inhumanity?
Because
you claim to be a Christian.
It literally makes my blood boil. And you can tell he's such an agitator and he's gotten real good at the job that he does. He knows who to target and he knows who to put the spotlight on. But I showed you that to get ready to show you Donna Lemonade's participation in this. That was the actual hostile takeover is what I'll call it. And now let's watch Don Lemon in the process of all this going on, interviewing, doing journalism with the pastor and members of that church.
This is unacceptable. It's shameful. It's shameful to interrupt a public gathering of Christians in worship.
But there were folks who will say,
I have to take care of my flock.
Okay, but listen, we live there's a constitution in the First Amendment to.
There's a constitution in the First Amendment to free speech, but you cannot utilize your free speech to disrupt religion services because guess what? You have a freedom of religion in this country as well. And Don Lemon has always used him being Black and gay as a way to manipulate things in his favor. He's always used that. He'll play the race card in a heartbeat. He'll play the homophobic card in a heartbeat. For someone who has not worked a hard day's work a day in his life, swears that he has been discriminated against because he's Black and gay. And for him to be so anti-white and then go home and lay next to a white man is insane to me. But that's another conversation.
Freedom of speech and freedom to assemble and protest.
Yeah. We're here to
freedom of speech and freedom to assemble and protest, not on private property. That church is private property. Let's not forget that part.
Worship. We're here to worship Jesus because that's the hope of these cities. That's the hope of the world is Jesus Christ.
I want to be very respectful. Please don't push me though.
We're here.
I would have knocked him down. I would have knocked him down because he's not being very respectful. He's asking rage-baiting questions. And my question though to this pastor, where are the men of the church? Where are the elders? Where are the deacons? Where is the usher board? Because at my church, Don Lemon would have been flipped on side of his head, knocked outside of the door. In the name of Jesus, we would have had a land on of hand service for everyone who walked through those doors. And that's just being honest.
We're here to worship Jesus. Yes. That's why we're here. Yeah. Okay, that's why we're here. Okay. That's what we're about.
Don't you think Jesus would be understanding
we're about
and love these folks?
We're about spreading the love of Jesus.
He wouldn't, because why? Because they're stealing. They're robbing us blind. They committed a crime coming over here to begin with illegally. Their process is set in place for a reason. Even the Bible says to obey the laws of the land. Okay, they did not obey the laws of our land, and therefore they must be submitted to the consequences of not obeying the laws of our land.
But did you try to talk to them as a Christian?
No one is willing to talk.
Okay.
I have to take care of my church and my family, so I asked if you actually would also leave this building.
You don't want us to
unless you're here to worship. Unless you're here to worship.
I'm always worship. I'm a Christian.
We're here to worship. We're here to worship. Okay.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. What do you think of this?
This man. So after this went viral and everyone started seeing it and talking about it and started calling for Don Lemon's arrest, Don Lemon went into panic mode. Donna Lemonade showed her true colors and started panicking on Beyonce's internet and began to make X post after X post, not taking accountability for where he went wrong, but blame shifting and blaming everyone else. Here's his response to all the backlash that he's receiving on the internet.
The MAGA administration and the fake news MAGAs are losing their mind over something that's not even true. So let me just make it clear, because this assistant attorney general, I don't know, what's her name? Something Hammett, Dillon or whatever. So I had no affiliation to that organization. I didn't even know they were going to this church until we followed them there. We were there chronicling protests. Once the protest started in the church, we did an act of journalism, which was report on it and talk to the people who were involved, which included the pastor, members of the church, and members of the organization. That's it.
But that's what the lie comes in at. He did not talk to them. He antagonized them. That's the difference. That's not journalism. That's being part of the problem. And then you say that you didn't know where you were going. How did you know where to meet up? How did you know the time and place? Stop playing with me and stop lying to our faces like we don't have common sense, like we're not free thinkers and can't put two and two together. His lies have worked on the internet and all across mainstream media for so many years because they controlled the media. And now that they no longer control the media, it's harder for them to control the narrative. And he's losing it because he cannot control the narrative. We saw what we saw. We know what we saw. And we are calling you out on it.
It's called journalism.
Not called journalism.
First Amendment, all that stuff. For all of you people who believe in the First Amendment, absolutist, there you go. So why don't you talk to the actual person who is in charge of the organization and whose idea it was to have the protests at the church before you start blaming me for stuff for which you have no idea. Thank you for your attention to this matter.
This man makes my blood boil so bad, so bad. It's just so hard for me to stomach men like this because he's such a woman hater. And he wants to be a woman so bad that he genuinely acts as if he hates women. But that wasn't it. He had another response. Watch this. So after he made all of these videos, the new MAGA queen, Nicki Minaj, chimed in. And she made a post about Don Lemon that he didn't like very much. It kind of hurt his feelings. And we know that when the Democrats' feelings get hurt, all hell breaks loose because you're not allowed to hurt anyone's feelings over on that side of the aisle. Let's check out his response to Nicki Minaj's tweet about him because he was mad. So Nicki Minaj's tweet read, Don cocksucking Lemon is disgusting. How dare you? I want that thug in jail. He would never do that to any other religion. Lock him up, which is true. They have not done that to the Jewish religion. They have not done that to the Islam religion. They are only attacking Christians, and I wonder why, especially for him to claim to be a Christian himself. If people cannot understand the extent to which Christianity is under attack, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know how to further open your eyes. But he is so mind blown that Nicki Minaj came out against him. His feelings are so hurt. Here's his response.
Homophobic tweet.
It's automatically homophobic when 60% of her fan base are homosexuals and transgenders. She was like the icon and the spokesperson for the LGBTQAYZ community. But as with Don Lemon, in a true Don Lemon fashion, everything is either racist or homophobic. It just doesn't work anymore. That no longer works. Why doesn't it work anymore? Because you guys no longer control the media. Therefore, you no longer control the narrative.
About me, I usually don't respond to this stuff, but let me just say this.
He responds every time. He's a liar. He responds every time he gets backlash or every time someone says something that hurts his feelings.
Nicki Minaj, stop talking about shit for which you know nothing about. This is out of your depth, by the way, and you are a homophobic bigot. You don't care about African Americans. You're not an African American. From what I know, you are reportedly an undocumented citizen, so you should be deported under Donald Trump's rules. And the other thing is that your family members, you have one family member who is reportedly a sex offender, the other family member, your husband or whatever, a sex offender is your husband, and one of them is reportedly a pedophile. And you have nerve to talk about me and what you think that I do? Nicki Minaj, get a life. Stop being a pick-me. You should have put a pick-me doll on that damn tweet instead of a Chucky doll.
This man is the ultimate pick-me for the Democratic Party. Anytime his name isn't mentioned in circles, he has a panic attack and he gets on the internet and he cries about it and blames it on racism and homophobia. The audacity of him to call Nicki Minaj a pick-me is insane to me. Because what? You're the ultimate pick-me. You want to be so anti-white that you can't help yourself, but yet you can't be anti-white with as much white as you get in you almost every night. Like, quit playing with us, Donna Lemonade. Quit playing with us.
Because you are nothing but a pick-me. And I choose not to pick you. And so should Black people.
Of course he chooses not to pick her because he doesn't like women at all. And he definitely don't like Black women. Let's make that clear. In all of everything he's ever done, look into why he was fired from CNN to begin with. Why was he fired from CNN? For the nasty, tasteless things that he said about women. Don Lemon has a problem with women. Why is he addressing Nicki Minaj? Out of all the people who addressed him and his absurd behavior, he goes after the woman, right? He's not going after none of these men that's calling him out, though, is he? Absolutely not. Because that's what these people do. They try to find people that are weaker than them and smaller than them in their minds. And that's who they choose to go after. It's absolutely insane to me.
And so should gay people. Shouldn't buy your music. Clock that.
Oh. The level of rage that I feel watching him as an almost 60-year-old man, holler some clock that, is absolutely the reason why Donald Trump is in that White House right now. Because it's people like this that we don't want access to our children. It's people like this that we don't want able to put things in our children's mind through the media and have them controlled. That's why Donald Trump is in the White House right now, for those who can't understand how so many Black people could vote to put a racist in the White House. Don Lemon is one of the reasons why. He's an example of why and how something like that can happen. I'm not the only one that feels this way. let's check out some of the backlash he's receiving on X from other Black people. Okay, watch this.